So it has a good message when it's focused.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is obviously a very different car from mine, and I'm on the wrong side for a change.
I'm in the driver's seat.
You don't even have your license.
He's working on it.
I'm working on it.
So, we got someone new here.
Hello.
And you go ahead.
I'm Michaela. I'm an animation student, which means that I like how things move. I like pretty colors. I like pretty music, and then I remember that there's a plot.
We'll get to the plot here.
Oh, man. Alright.
So, we just got out of Smallfoot in my week of catch-up, because I got like 5 fucking movies I gotta see this week. Alright, there we go. Alright, so yeah, we just got out of Smallfoot. Sorry for the little break there. There's gonna be weird cutting this, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, Smallfoot, what do you guys think?
Religion, bad.
Yeah.
I have a little analogy here. So,
If you don't mind, I'm gonna roll down a little bit here.
yeah, go ahead.
Old school.
Smallfoot comes off as a kid-friendly version of Sausage Party.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
That's the best way I can describe this movie.
Yeah.
Because there is a message. It is interesting. And I was actually, for a kid, it can be pretty thought-provoking. But there's so much stupid shit in there.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of gets muddled a lot in the Tom and Jerry antics.
So, I would say that the stupid shit is like the parents saying, "Here comes the airplane," and the airplane is philosophical questioning.
Yeah. It's just
like, oh, that's gonna be great at the dinner table. Here comes metatextual context. Jump.
Okay, kids, what did Nietzsche say? God is dead! It's just, good, children.
Who's read their Freud this morning?
Your
mother! Very good.
Now,
At the end, we used the Bible to bean people over the head.
literally, yeah. Now, to be fair to this
God,
movie,
that is what happened.
to be fair, I didn't hate this movie so much as I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to absolutely loathe it. There are parts I loathe for sure. This is more like...
In the beginning, I was getting ready to hate this movie. I'm just like, God, this already
the first half is awful. I'm not going to defend the first half. The second half builds up to something like really promising. Okay, we're actually going somewhere here.
Yeah.
And then it completely drops the ball from what I can only guess was a studio note.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Which just goes on a spoiler territory, because this is like the big nagging point. So, okay, like I said, I like the message they were going for.
Yeah.
Like, don't fear change, you should ask questions, there's all things you don't understand. Again, religion bad. Pretty much. Or, I don't know if it's a religion bad so much, religion worth questioning.
Religion worth questioning.
Which is, again, is a good moral and something that I feel like should be taught more, even though it's definitely in the category we've seen this before.
Yeah.
It's still nice to get that reminder, and it's still, when this focuses on that, it's still done fairly well.
Yeah.
And then the first song starts.
Oh, God.
Because this is a goddamn musical, apparently.
Oh, man.
Which is not in any of the advertising, by the way.
Yeah, it really isn't.
It was in the radio, so I don't have TV.
Oh, was
I
it?
only have radio, so I get radio commercials for their like with original music by Zendaya.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
she was in the movie too.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of musicians in the movie.
Yeah, fucking Common was like the elder Yeti, and I was like, God damn, I love his voice.
We'll talk about him because that's what, honestly where I have one of the biggest issues of the movie. Not because I thought Common was bad.
Yeah,
it's because they didn't use him like clearly the way they originally wanted to. Which I don't know if you guys caught on to this. Because like right off the bat, you kind of know like, okay, Common plays this elder who's like, they call him the Stonekeeper, his big rope full of rules and stuff. Basically, like, you cannot do this for this religious reason, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, okay, so he's going to be the villain. And for about 3/4 of the movie, he is the villain. And especially towards the end when they get to like the twist, you're like, okay, they even set up.
That actually was a pretty good twist.
Like
I kind of liked that.
I saw it coming a mile away,
Me
but
too.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that too. But
the actual,
still.
like, the way it was, like, again, that was the point, like, okay, I'm kind of with this, we're leading up to something, they'd be able to, like, a climactic showdown of, like, ignorance versus knowledge, like what kind of works, like and they kind of say even like ignorance is bliss, but also it's not worth to live in a lie, like that kind of stuff. That kind of meta-narrative textual stuff I really liked. I was like, okay, that's a good thing to teach kids. But then they completely dropped all of it. And they even, which is so weird to me, because they even set up the exact final moment where like the final climactic showdown would have begun. And that, so quickly going through the story, this is about a Yeti in a Yeti society. I
think the Yeti is played by Channing Tatum.
It is Channing Tatum.
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
God
Yeti.
bless him, is doing his best.
He really is. You know, like he's trying.
Like, I mean, he's doing his best. But it's a very ignorant village run by a guy who's a stonekeeper. Because they're all the rules.
The whole thing is like a big religious commune.
Pretty much, it's Scientology. Wouldn't be great when he's playing with Tom Cruise.
The thing we've seen a million times before, like in the Lego movie, where it's like, we have our happy society.
You know, everything.
Going.
I mean, like, it was really formulaic, and at the start, where everything was like, here's our society.
Yeah, except in the Lego movie circumstances, the moral was everyone's special in their own way, and like that wasn't like religion bad, that was conformity bad.
Yeah, conformity bad.
This is definitely playing harder into the religious angle. And it's pretty obvious from the get-go that's what they're going for. But where are we going with this? So one day after shenanigans happen, he figures out there's actually another race of people they call small feet because they have small feet. You get it? Because it's like they're big feet, but they're actually small feet. You get it? It's the title of the movie.
We got it. Just put a bunch of celebrities in, we'll sell a bunch of tickets.
Pretty much. So
add some pop music. There you go.
Yeah.
But when he goes,
get Common, make sure he raps. Okay, this movie will suck if Common doesn't rap.
Or awkwardly talk while music plays.
I mean, I actually thought it was pretty bitchin', to be honest. I was kind of getting into it. Like,
I will admit I was too, but if you actually listen to it, it's like he's still just kind of talking over music.
I mean, that's what like rap is basically rhythmic poetry.
I mean, that's basically just Scar in the first Lion King.
I mean, until
no, I mean, like, I love Be Prepared, but let's face it, it's not necessarily singing so much as I am making sounds that sound like singing.
They actually, what was it? Midway through the song, they actually like switch out Jim Cummings or Jeremy Irons with Jim Cummings.
I always thought it was all Jim Cummings.
Well, no, there's like a moment where it changes. And it's like Jim Cummings for the rest of the song, and it's freaking nuts. Like you can barely tell.
Yeah, I never noticed. I always thought it was Jim Cummings. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. The point is that he goes in there and the religious guy says, "Oh, you're clearly crazy, so we're gonna banish you until you change your mind." Which, you know, really? Granted, in today's society, it may not be a bad idea to push this kind of message forwards. That's a whole political thing I don't want to get into right now.
There was a lot of politics involved there. I'm all
like the protest line scene. Did you catch that?
Which one?
Which one was that one?
Okay, so it was right when all of the Yetis were looking at all of the village, and there was this moment where the guys had the riot shields, and I was like, wow, you did that.
Yeah, there's a little meta text there. Yeah, that was a good catch. I didn't catch that. No, that's actually a really good catch. I noticed that. Now I can't unsee it. But, damn, I didn't completely miss that. I'm kind of mad at myself now.
And then they immediately started mixing and singing about, how this
Kumbaya.
is so great.
Yeah, Kumbaya.
Kumbaya with
like,
the
my first, okay, if I was, okay, so we got to finish the rest of the song for this thing that I'm about to say to make sense.
Okay.
So,
he runs into a secret society, people who, like, are basically conspiracy theorists who believe that everything they've been told is a lie, which in this case is actually true.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, we're gonna figure this out. So Channing Tatum goes down to this, goes down under the clouds, which apparently they believe it to be nothingness. But turns out, surprise, surprise, no, it's not.
The world exists.
And he finds one of the small feet played by fucking
James Corden.
And I can't believe I keep saying this. Fuck you, James Corden. Fuck you, Peter Rabbit.
And he was basically a Steve Irwin, Coyote Peterson wannabe.
He is James Corden in the last 3 movies I've seen him in.
The guy is literally like the character is literally like Buffalo Bill with his Wild West show. Like, hey, look at all this thing that's fact, except I'm just here for the money.
And it's like, I do not like James Corden. I'm so fucking sick of him.
He is, I mean, his movies suck, but I mean, him himself is actually pretty charming.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I just know I've seen enough of his movies to say, fuck you, James Corden.
He just keeps getting into all these shitty movies. That's just the problem.
Yeah.
We gotta weasel him into something.
I don't think he's that good of an actor.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, it's kind of like that. He's kind of got one of those voices and faces where you just
he's got a good singing voice, I'll give that.
Yeah, he does. I mean, yeah, he's like what was it? Like, I think he was on Broadway at some point. Or he's really into Broadway.
He was in a movie about Broadway.
He was.
But how good of the actors does this movie actually require?
Again, to give credit where credit is due, for the shitty script Channing Tatum was given,
he did.
He
was trying
do his
best.
damnedest to sell it.
Yeah.
But like even then, if you got a crappy like script, and I get your point. Like, okay, like how much do you really need to try for this? But at the same time, just hearing it be James Corden talking just makes me naturally angry. Because I just think back to Peter Rabbit and how much we can go fuck off.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was a bad day.
So he goes down, he discovers the world, and
he kidnaps James Corden.
That's literally what happens. Like, James Corden is like fighting him the whole way. He's just like, nah, you're gonna come with me, motherfucker. You're gonna prove my innocence, and
but
that
all
you
innocent.
exist.
But so yeah, they bring him back, and you can't. When they bring him back, so the movie gets a little more interesting.
It actually does.
Because then they do have to be confronted with again ignorance versus curiosity, which is an interesting theme. And when they actually talk about it, when they actually explore it, it is interesting.
Yeah.
And it leads to the point, so it kind of goes. It's still predictable, right? You know what's going to happen more or less.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Stonekeeper tries to lure him off, but then they get too curious and they start immediately innovating. And then the Stonekeeper says, like, hey, apparently less than a day. It basically says, like, hey, here's the actual truth. We need to keep this shit a secret, otherwise everyone could die. Yeah. And that's where it gets.
We live at the top of this mountain because humans suck.
Because we have to.
They gonna kill our asses.
So it's like, and we shall call this Catholic priesthood. They even have the robes. He is the Stonekeeper is the Pope.
Literally wears a robe made of rocks that has all their robes on it. The guy literally covers himself in the Bible.
Which is just imagine how heavy the hat is.
Oh my god, seriously.
Which is watch every pope slowly turn to popostrophe.
There's a weight at the top of it. Starting to drink it out. Oh, Pope is slumping.
They literally say all the time, we don't question the stone.
Yeah.
Literally, the first song.
Yeah, has if you have any questions, just push them deep down.
Literally, the first fucking song is literally Turn It Off from Book of Mormon.
I leaned over the mat.
But it's more annoying.
Yeah.
But it's super annoying.
And super pop happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I have an issue with this movie and a lot of the animated movies that come out lately is they're all pop songs.
Yeah.
They don't have their own place in the universe. It's like they want to churn out something that'll
sell
stick on
soundtracks.
Spotify. Yeah.
And
it definitely feels like, well, the chart says.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
The charts say pop songs are popular right now, therefore.
We gotta get the pop song. Get Zendaya on the project.
I don't know why he's British in my version.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I guess charts are kind of universal. Everyone can understand a chart.
Yeah, I just really miss when animated movies had their own brand, their own magic. You went to Disney movies for the Disney songs. You didn't go for Let It Go. You didn't go for this stuff that could just be spat out on a CD and sound like everything else.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I would also say there's I definitely see musicals that still have a good identity. That's also this movie did not need to be nothing justified this being a musical because none of the songs were really a standout except maybe the Common song was
the one that Common does.
The one that Common does. Even then, I was like, this would have been so much better if it wasn't a song.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it reminded me of Prince of Egypt.
Oh.
And how powerful that scene was. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, the hieroglyphs.
The hieroglyph scene, not necessarily the dream sequence. That was weird.
That was a dream sequence.
No, the part where he walks into the cavern first time and then Patrick Stewart comes in and basically.
Oh god, yeah, that was such a good ass scene. scene.
And they basically describes their entire ideology and all their like ethical beliefs and stuff like that, and all one thing, and all their justifications for it. And that's a great scene.
God.
And like, you don't need a dumb song to get that. The dumb song came afterwards.
Yeah,
But,
I love Prince of Egypt so fucking
like Prince of
much.
Egypt also had a great personal identity.
It had
go ahead.
So what my personal belief is, you can't compare anything to the Prince of Egypt or Avatar: The Last Airbender, because it will always be better.
True. That being said, but it's also kind of like seeing like what. This movie is clearly going for that kind of style with their part. They have all the cave drawings on the wall. And it's like the same scene, except now you have a rap song with it, which is kind of distracting.
It was kind of bitching.
It's not a bad song. Like it starts out rough, but it gets better as progression goes forward. But I was like, yeah, but a lot of this would have been so much better if they just talked about it. And like when it actually turns into a villain song, like okay, then you could kind of make it like that's when I would transition to like a more rap like a song if you're gonna do it at all. Yeah, like I would do it around then, because at like that point that was when the song got interesting. Was when Common went straight villain and basically said like, we will fucking kill you. The truth must be hidden. We will fucking murder you.
That's another thing that bothered me, is he's just like, yeah, we will all die if you talk. And also, I'm showing you all of this stuff, which classically ends with me killing you.
Yeah, I know. You can go.
You can go. Off you go.
And, okay, also, on the theme of Common being the villain here, does anyone else feel like he kind of got off a little scot-free?
And that's what I'm going to get to. That's what I'm building up to, because that's what bothered me the most.
Yeah. Everybody's mad at Channing Tatum for lying to them.
Because Channing Tatum gets convinced by this, and he falls for the fear bait. Yeah. And he goes up to everyone and says like, hey, I was wrong. This isn't a Smallfoot. It's just a weird kind of yak. I was wrong. Everyone else is crazy. Our society goes we were right about everything. Our society is exactly the way we think it is. That kind of thing. He basically just feeds into the conspiracy theory, and then he feels horrible about it, as well he should, and that's when I get that's why I feel like, okay, here's where the climax is beginning, because his dad is also at this point, it was played by, what was it?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, which I kept thinking of Phil from Hercules.
Like, I mean, I was like sitting there thinking, I mean, he's got a better part in this than he did in the fucking Lorax.
As he's like going back in the slingshot, he's going, I got a fur wedgie.
Fucking hell. Oh, shit.
But no, because he's realizing, because his job is to rain a gone every day to, because they think they're convinced, because if they do this, that's what causes the sun to come up. Then he realizes, no, it doesn't, because he misses it one day, and the sun comes up anyway. So he has his own existential crisis going on. And so at the point that when he goes up to Channing Tatum, he's feeling sad for having lied, and again, kind of talking about like ignorance is like kind of talking about like, I kind of wish I didn't know anything anymore. It's is it one? Is it one of those two?
Got it.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. And Danny DeVito's kind of on his side on the matter. It's like, you know, you really need to do something about this, because at this point, Common has basically kidnapped the human and sentenced him to die, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oxygen deprivation.
Oxygen deprivation. He knows what he's doing,
Michael's
too.
Sitting there like, yeah, kill him. Kill James Corden. Do it.
That thought crossed my mind, but only if he was, like, animated to look like Peter Rabbit. For every that's all my fantasies would have come true.
You know, it's also funny, because James Corden had the worst fucking song.
Yeah. Like the cynical chart laying like emoji movie bullshit.
It's really bad.
I need attention on social media.
Yes.
That song. Oh, fuck.
And he shit it's all over Queen doing it. I'm just like, oh, you
under pressure.
Shit. You should have just sung Ice Ice Baby and would have taken it, you piece of
fucker.
Bastard.
And it wasn't something you wanted to root for. You didn't like him. You didn't like the song. It's like, this is a song about me being an asshole.
Yeah, and you know where that's going to. You know he's gonna have the redemption arc.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like, I was literally calling some of the stuff as the movie was going on.
I mean, it's pretty transparent from the beginning.
I was like, okay, at the end of the movie, he's gonna have all the proof, but he's gonna get rid of it.
No, but here's the thing, though. It doesn't do that in the end when it feels like that.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good thing in this case.
Yeah.
Which is weird for me to say. Because like what it leads up to is like so at this point, how this works, they have a slingshot, they fire themselves to the gun every day. So Channing Tatum's like, I want to do this now to like basically just give myself brain damage.
That's literally the plot point. I'm gonna give myself brain damage
because thinking that.
But then Danny DeVito like aims him towards the palace of the word keeper, and basically says like, look, the human's in there, your love interest is in there, who we won't talk about much because there's really not a whole lot to talk about. And you think like, okay, here we go. They're gonna go in there. It's gonna be like a rescue mission. They're gonna have a competition in common at the end. That's where this is going. But then it doesn't.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like this is a studio note.
Yeah.
Like, and again, this is maybe like tinfoil hat kind of thing, but this feels like a studio because it's such a dramatic change in pace, tone, and theme that it's kind of baffling.
Yeah. Especially like the moment it hit me was when he's like, "Open the door," and then the door opens. And I'm like, "That's it."
Yeah.
You are in the lair of the villain, and he's like, "Open the door, I'm going to the Smallfoot village," and he goes.
I mean, with Common, it felt like they were going for like a sort of like morally gray kind of villain, where it's like, yeah, he does bad things, but he has his reasons. He's protecting people, but he's being a dick.
But he doesn't have his reasons for doing good things.
Yeah,
exactly.
You want a character whose actions are motivated by having reasons.
Well, I mean, I guess you could argue that he was defending his daughter, if you want to go that route. Because his daughter decides in one, like, okay, I'm going to take matters in my own hands, and she takes Smallfoot back to his village because he's dying. Now, the problem is, we don't see her do this. We only hear about it after Channing Tatum breaks in to rescue everybody, and then Common just comes in like, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, I guess the human's gone now. I guess I'm on your side now.
Yeah, it's just kind of...
It's such a dramatic 180. And again, it's so out of place. I have to think this is some kind of studio note. Or somebody said, like, do we have to make him do we have to make the guy we've been building up to be a bad guy actually be a bad guy?
Cop out.
Pretty much.
It does feel like a cop out. It feels like a last minute change.
Yeah.
Because it's like it is not earned, and it feels out of nowhere, and it leads to just this overlong chase scene at the end where all the humans are trying to get to the Yetis and so on and so forth, and it leads to a fake out where fucking what's his name?
The Channing Tatum Yeti?
No, douchebag McYouTube.
Oh, James Corden.
James Corden's character.
I don't even remember what his name is. He's just gonna be James Corden.
Something
it was like Percy or some shit.
But he disguised himself as the Yeti as like, it was all a gag, like it was all a publicity stunt, yuck. And then in the very next scene, they have this big monologue about how like we shouldn't be hiding anymore, and they all go down anyway. So that whole sequence was completely pointless.
It's just like so. Plus, honestly, them going down there is a shit plan. I know I was telling you guys in the theater, but I want the audience to.
But at least that's what the movie was building towards.
Yeah,
and like it feels like that's where it's going to end regardless. So it's like. So you have this long tangent that goes nowhere and just makes your moral confusing because, like, don't hide, but do hide? Except when you decide not to. And it just really confuses the entire point of the movie.
Yeah, it's just, it kind of gets, the message really gets muddled in that, too.
Yeah, and it's all because of that final sequence.
Yeah.
I think I realized what my problem was with the main character is he's kind of just a witness. Like, you notice his love interest has this secret club of truth seekers.
I mean, he does just kind of go along with everyone's telling him. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
We have the Stonekeeper who has his huge generations of motivations of secret keepers. We have this, whatever his name is, Percy guy, running around trying to save his channel. And then we have our main character, and he just is like a pinball getting hit around to the different plot points.
That is a sharp observation. He doesn't really do a lot of actual actions on his own accord. I mean, aside from like that climax that doesn't go anywhere.
I mean, he is the driving force to the conflict in the second half.
Yeah, but it all chance. Yeah, she has a point.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're pretty much right. I think that like the one contradicting point I would say to that is the fact that he is the one that decides to bring the Smallfoot back up to begin with.
Yeah.
So from like even though it's still like influenced by what other people are telling him, his actions still drive the drive to the climax, or what was supposed to be the climax.
Yeah.
Which has to happen in order for him to be a main character.
So, like, I still, like, no, I agree with you, though. Like, he doesn't have much of a mind of his own, so much he kind of absorbs and reflects whatever everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that movie that came out a couple years ago called Epic, which was...
Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, man. I have not seen that movie in so long.
Oh, my God, that movie was dull.
Really pretty world, and then the main character is just a pinball.
Oh, you didn't like the elbow scene?
What the fuck was... I haven't seen...
elbow. That's like the only fucking thing I remember from that movie. That and Christoph Waltz was the villain.
Yeah.
I remember the
Wait, I thought that was Highlander.
I repressed the slugs.
Wasn't that the Highlander guy?
Which one?
The bad guy.
No, that's Christoph Waltz.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
He sounded just like sounded just like the guy from Highlander.
It is not Sean Connery.
No, not Sean Connery. The guy who was the main guy in Highlander. Wasn't it that guy?
I am 100% positive the villain in Epic was Christoph Waltz.
All right, you guys talk. I'm gonna look this up.
I don't know.
I know that because they advertised the shit out of that in the trailers, and I saw that trailer 5,000 goddamn times. Oh, right. I do remember the obnoxious Beyonce intro that movie had.
Oh my god, yeah, they had to really make
that
like,
one. Is that her? Or like, if I see, is that Beyonce? Is that her? It's Beyonce. She's a weird leaf thing.
Oh shit, it's Beyonce.
Like, again, like celebrity musicals.
Yeah.
That's what makes them pop songs, is when you put celebrities in them.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's not atypical for these kind of movies. I mean, like, even Lion can have Matthew Broderick and Jeremy Irons. Granted, neither of them can sing. But yeah, you can definitely kind of read the animated sign death symbol if it's like whatever musician is popular at the time, rather than people that actually feel like it fits what's going on in the movie. Yeah. Like, if I have to see Pitbull credited in your movie, I'm not having high hopes.
That's how you make something the opposite of timeless.
Yeah, when you
put
it's
pop
topical.
Culture references in, and whatever musical stylists happen to be great at the time. That's how you lock a movie into a period about 3 years of when it's relevant, and then it's no longer relevant.
Yeah.
Happened to
Oh shit, yeah, you're right, Christoph Waltz.
Fucking told you.
All right. I was having trouble too, because I was all like,
you didn't see that trailer as many times as I did, dude. That was one of those obnoxious trailers. That's another death sign for a movie, is if the same trailer pops up in every fucking movie you see until you die.
And then it gives away the entire plot, so like the point of seeing the movie.
It's like, I don't even care if this movie's good anymore. I just want it to come out so I don't have to see this fucking trailer anymore.
It's like a song that's stuck in your head and you have to listen to it even though you hate it.
Yeah, it's like right now, the two I got going on right now is A Star Is... that one too. A Star Is Born and The Grinch. I am so fucking tired of seeing these stupid trailers. Although apparently Star Is Born is really good.
Really?
That's what I've heard. But anyway... Yeah, so, like, that's not my biggest complaint, because, again, like, no matter what the path is, to get to the end, it's like it would have ended the same way, except now you've made your entire sequence up to that point completely worthless.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, everything that you just made a huge, big effort to do is now completely undone.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was the point? Why couldn't you have your epic showdown with Common? Was Common just not up for the task?
Yeah.
Upon a full villain? Like, or something.
Actually,
like some kind of like
Yetis fighting would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeti Civil War. Come on. we got this guy with the old world order, and then we got a revolution happening.
You even have like the cool like spinny elevator that could have worked as like a good final fight scene.
Yeah, and the lighting. He had this mood lighting. He had those light snails down pat.
And then you can have the epic moment when he's like decides like the gloves are off and he takes off the rope so he's a lot lighter.
It's like fucking anime. He takes off the training weights here.
No, it's like Jack. It's like Samurai Jack when he learns how to jump good.
Oh my god. It's like he takes off the rope and he's like hella jacked underneath.
Yeah,
and we're all like, oh shit.
I've been carrying that rope for years.
Yeah, give us.
Like he's like way the fuck taller all of a sudden. And he's got like these big ass muscles.
He's like
King
shit,
Boomy,
man.
and he like.
Oh fuck yeah! He's like, oh my god, that would have been fucking awesome.
But either way, just seeing a conclusion to what they're building up to that point, the good stuff of the movie, because there is some like when they're actually talking about the theological stuff movies, like what the narration's trying to go for. It's pretty solid.
Actually,
like the second half of this movie, when it's dealing with that, is actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
But it's when they completely dropped that. So like, I would have loved it.
For the hijinks.
Like, I guess they didn't think it was kiddie enough or what.
Exactly. Actually, I was watching the kids in the theater when they started having more theological discussions. The kids got bored. They were running around. They were slapping each other, and they were starting to make noise. And then the hijinks started again, and the kids were like, "Yeah."
Yeah, and. And I think that also comes down to when you have a movie that's clearly trying to be more noise than anything else. Like, you kind of get that with kids, too. But I do genuinely think you can engage kids in these kinds of movies. And we've seen them done before.
Yeah.
But it's like, you probably just kind of have to do that from beginning to end.
There was, like, a moment,
I mean, look at, like, classic Disney movies is a good example of this, where they do kind of sneak in those kind of discussions and debates, and like Frozen, honestly, is kind of an example, a recent example of a way you can do that and still keep the audience engaged throughout. There's a way to do it, and I think you absolutely have a scene where they actually do have, like, granted, still for kids, but still kind of have a theological discussion in like the protagonist and the antagonist about their belief system, while also making it flashy enough to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine, like a be prepared sequence, but it's about religion.
Shit, yeah. God damn.
You can absolutely do that with the way they set this up, and like the entire area they set up underneath like the giant ice palace would have been a great setting for that.
That would have been really cool.
It feels like they had some people who were like super pumped, and they got the green light, and then they're like, wait.
Whoa, guys.
We don't have time for a villain showdown. We're gonna go and massacre Queen again.
Yeah, it's actually really funny that you mentioned that, because right before I watched this movie, I was watching a video essay by Lindsay Ellis, who was talking about. Oh god,
she's amazing.
It was talking about the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and how much they so wanted to change so much of that movie, because they thought what was there was going to be a disaster. Because particularly Johnny Depp, they hated Johnny Depp to the point where even like Bill Eisner was going, he is ruining this movie. Which is ironic now.
Yeah.
But it's like, but if they did do it,
they ruined the later ones.
Well, yeah. But for the first one, where it was a legitimate gamble.
Yeah.
Where they just said like they want to change everything that pretty much made it good, and it's like, so if they went to the studio wanted, then it would have just been a generic movie that nobody would have cared about.
Yeah.
But because they took the risks, it turned out to be something that's like honestly, the first one at the very least is kind of timeless.
I know. So I fucking love the first one.
Yeah. Like, well, sequels not so much, but
2 is okay just because I love Davy Jones.
But yeah, me too. I'll give
it. And it has the Davy Jones song.
Yeah, that is a fantastic orchestral.
Oh my God.
I've listened to that one.
I actually do listen to that sometimes when I'm writing stuff.
I listen to.
Me too.
I have a playlist of just Hans Zimmer.
Nice. Back before like Inception kind of ruined his reputation for a little while. But no, so like I think this is what it boils down to, is a movie that has good ideas and could have been great, but if it went all in.
I really, it makes me really want to see what cut scenes, what cut songs.
Yeah, like the deleted scenes.
The deleted scenes from the Lorax. There was this one song.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about studio notes, yeah.
So basically, it had this more anti-capitalism instead of just environmentalism. It was like the dangers of late capitalism, and it had this huge rock ballad for the villain.
It was pretty badass, actually. I gotta show it to you later.
It's called Biggering, and it's
I'll look it up later. Yeah, it sounds like that sounds up my alley.
But they changed it to this, I don't even remember.
How bad
can I be
this
nice
this evil corporal guy, so you don't have to feel bad about all the other evil corporations in the universe.
So that was an example of a movie that was going in one direction with all its heart, and then got its head chopped off. Trying to do it. And I feel like this movie probably had that happen somewhere along the way.
And I'd agree with that, honestly.
I actually remember being during the first half of the movie, while I was loathing it entirely, I was actually kind of annoyed. Not just because of how terrible a lot of the dialogue was, or the pop songs and shit, but I was actually really annoyed because the animation is really good sometimes.
Yeah, there was definitely some.
I was when he's walking off into that blizzard, I'm like, fuck. I was like, damn.
I adored the animation.
Yeah, the animation was really good. I was kind of pissed off at first. I was like, why does this? Well, okay, you got celebrity cast, and you have this amazing animation, but such a shit start to this movie. I was like,
tearing me apart, Sony.
I know. It's just like, you invested too much in this. But then they got to the theological stuff, and I was like, oh shit, okay, it's getting good now. And then it sucked again, and I was like, oh man.
You know what it made me realize, though?
What's that?
This is exactly what's going to happen with Venom next month.
Oh, don't even do that.
This is exactly what's going to happen, because I'm already seeing the signs. Studio interference. They don't trust the original direction. Granted, I never had faith in me good to begin with.
Yeah, it's
but
Sony,
you can tell that Sony has been hacking it to fucking pieces.
Seriously.
I actually do want to talk about the animation because...
Yes, you're the animation student.
Yeah, you know shit.
I was actually watching it the entire time. It basically every time he cringed, I would laugh.
I heard, yeah.
It was amazing. The gags were really pushing it, and they were so funny. But there was a bunch of old gags that we've seen, but the timing was so good that it was
like you slap. No, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it was like slapstick, but set to music almost, because everything led into another gag in this journey that wasn't too exhilarating, but just enough to be like a roller coaster that didn't stop and start, but was a long stream. I
can see where you're coming from that. I think my issue with that sequence, because I know what you're talking about, I think for my issue, and it kind of comes down to why slapstick and Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry or even some original Disney with Daffy Duck or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not Daffy Duck, Donald Duck. Yeah. Why those sequences worked is because the characters in them felt more vulnerable and they can actually be physically hurt. Yeah. And in this movie, he's fucking invincible.
I know. They're saying humans are gonna kill us. Are you fucking sure?
I know. It's you dropped 50 stories. You
should have died 50 times in this movie.
And then the classic gag of hitting the snow and leaving a silhouette.
Leaving the silhouette.
It was cringy at first, but then they pushed it and they made it funny because it's a callback to the previous time. I can
see that.
But honestly, I enjoyed the silhouette pretty much every time.
It didn't really work for me, but I get where you're coming from.
It actually kind of was a little funny when they pointed down to the other silhouettes, and I was like, oh shit, he was how is he not fucking dead?
Well, there was a lot.
James Corden nearly died so many times.
I'm pretty sure that he was legally dead at one point.
Yeah.
But no, for me, I think for slapstick to work for me, there has to be this is harsh to say, there has to be some element of pain. And you kind of have to feel like that character's feeling. That's what makes it funny. Even I would say Storks had this more than this movie did.
Yeah. The characters got beat up.
They got the shit kicked out of them. That's what kind of made that sequence funny.
Yeah.
Because
Channing Tatum jumps off a cliff and then he's just okay,
he bounces back like a rubber ball, and it's there's no ooh, dude, because he's fine. But then Storks, when he get hit with a stick, he felt like he got hit by the stick. Yeah. Or when he broke his arm, he's it's fucking broken.
Okay. Apparently, I need to watch fucking Storks.
It's fun.
I love that movie.
Storks had a lot of continuity. The characters would get their necks cricked, and they'd stay cricked. And it was really great.
And the wolves in particular were amazing.
Oh my God.
Okay, I remember the wolf sub in the trailers, and I was what the fuck
they're even better in the movie.
Are you serious?
They're even better in the movie. It's Key and Peele doing the voices.
Key and Peele, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's honestly worth watching for them alone.
Okay. Okay.
But just going back to that's what kind of made that's why Daffy Duck was the best Looney Tunes character. It's because he took the most abuse, and you felt it every time. It's why even though Wile E. Coyote was the bad guy, you still kind of rooted for him because he got the shit kicked out of him because of that goddamn Roadrunner.
And he'd show up in the next scene with a Band-Aid on his
head. Exactly. You could tell there was taking a toll, but and that's probably a lot of it. Current animated movies, there's a lot of rubber band physics going on.
Yeah.
And it's not as funny because the slapstick is okay, it's not actually doing anything though, so slapstick's not really carrying that comedic weight. Yeah. Again, for me.
But there was a lot of other incredible visual comedy, when the Yeti first sees the guy, or when he's approaching the village, he does this rooting thing.
Lumbering thing.
He basically stalks it like a really curious animal, which is exactly what I did this morning when I was following some birds. It's normal.
I'm asking you, I'm looking at you for confirmation. Is this a thing?
Yeah, this is a thing.
Okay.
This is a thing.
Hey, I found what I was looking for.
All right, fair enough.
I'll explain later if you want me to.
It's okay. Yeah. You don't need to speak for her, Matt.
All right. She'll tell you.
I need an interpreter.
That
was fun. It was just a lot of fun. They were really believable as as curiosity. Like, curiosity was a big theme. Be curious, act curious, make curiosity funny.
Which is not a bad thing, and like that's the stuff I liked about the movie, and I kind of wish they doubled down on that. But just again, this felt like Sony doesn't trust the audience.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty common theme with Sony in general.
God, you fucking assholes at Sony.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna see that with Venom this month, and we're gonna see that with Morbius apparently, because that's going through.
Morbius.
Yo, have you not been following the Spider-Man crap?
What happened?
Oh my god, dude.
What?
I'm gonna break your heart so bad.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna
Michael?
tell you, Sony's Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. That's totally happening. And they have several movies planned. The next one is Morbius, the Living Vampire, starring Jared Leto.
I need a moment.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. There's more. There is more.
What?
Do you know who what's her fucking name? Jackpot is?
No.
Are you sure you don't? Because she's getting a movie. And a character so obscure, most people had to look it up. That's not even the most obscure one. It's always one on Night Thrasher. It's been like one issue, and that's getting its own movie.
Michael, get out of my car.
I'm just telling you what they're doing. There's also a Kraven the Hunter movie they're talking about.
Kraven the Hunter was badass, though.
But as his own character in his own movie?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Our Black Cat movie and a Silver Sable movie.
Seriously?
I'm not making any of this up.
They're trying to be Marvel?
Yeah, they're trying to get that Sony Spider-Man movie, that Spider-Man, and it's gonna go as well as you'd expect.
And then they're gonna go like, it's the most ambitious crossover in history. All of these villains and Spider-Man.
Except not, because Marvel took one look at Venom and said no. Which is kind of great. My favorite interview was when what's his name? Kevin Feige was sitting down with like the Sony CAO, and they're talking about Venom for a little bit. And there was like, is Venom going to be part of the MCU? And Spider-Man going to show up? I was like, well, we're talking about it, and he might show at one point. And Kevin Feige shoots a look like, bitch, what? He doesn't say anything. It's all in his eyes. Like, we did not discuss this.
Oh, man.
But to his credit, he stayed silent. But he had that look of. It became a meme for a while. Look it up. It's kind of great.
All right.
But anyway, I can't think of anything else to talk about Smallfoot. You guys got anything?
It was pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, the female.
Yes, go. The female.
The girl Yeti.
The girl Yeti.
Yeah.
Not like the other girl Yeti who had no name or personality, but the main girl Yeti.
Well, I think they had a name. They said it once.
Michi?
Better names than I am.
Let's call her Zendaya Yeti.
Okay, so the Zendaya Yeti. Human with fur. This is a problem that we see in a lot of animated movies. Is
over-sexualized furries?
Well, no. That they
Really?
push the envelope with our male characters and our side female character, the short one with the funky hair.
Yeah.
I liked her. But she was just girl in dress with long hair.
Yeah.
I was not a fan.
Yeah.
Nah, that's fair.
And, you see it in pretty much every animated movie. You got the love interest, and she looks like a human. Freaking Lava, that great animated short.
Yeah.
You got Volcano, and then Woman. And it's just like, you can do better.
Apparently,
look at the guy.
Yeah, apparently though.
Well, how can you tell if it's a woman if she doesn't have boobs?
Yeah.
She didn't have boobs. I like that.
Yeah, they didn't give her volcano boobies. But like I think like that for that short, just particularly, just like I think that was actually based on an actual
Hawaiian myth. Yeah.
couple.
Yeah, no,
like
it was
the man was based on
yeah.
is and the. Excuse me.
Wasn't it based on like an actual myth?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know about that. I'd have to look into that.
But the designs were based on actual people.
Yeah.
But still, you compressed a guy into a mountain with a mouth that long. You can do as much without giving her hair and little lips. Come on.
Yeah.
I want to go into character design.
That's imagine people at Disney like, we can't have homo though.
No homo.
We can't even make the LeFou gay without people fucking jumping down our throats. Great, I can't wait for this scene.
Let's just make him gay enough to be gay, but not so gay that it's like...
I was promised rampant homosexuality in that movie, and it did not deliver.
What's that line where he's like, you know, how come no one snatched you up yet, LeFou? Gaston, it's because I'm gay. We've been over this. Oh, yeah. How you doing, man? And she's like, yeah, I'm having trouble.
No, that movie had so many other fucking problems.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, this one, I really liked the design. The design was really pretty. The village was pretty. The ice was pretty. The snails that light up were pretty.
I'm just gonna take off my jacket.
But in the end, like, it was a really great visual movie with kind of an okay story.
There you go.
Character design was fun. However, the Yetis had no nostrils, so that every time they closed their mouths, they were gonna, I don't know, suffocate the thing. Like, I was watching. Every time they were walking around with their mouths closed, I was like, you are dead.
Especially with how thin the air is up there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they just adapt. Maybe they breathe through their fur or something. I don't know.
It was a fun design. I actually have noticed that.
I mean, if we're gonna go into nitpicky anatomy stuff, where are their dicks? I did not see a single dick.
They had fur.
They had fur. They also have really long legs. I want to see a dangly schwan.
All right, well, you can go draw some fan art of Yeti porn. God knows it's gonna exist eventually.
Oh my god.
Quickly, to DeviantArt.
That shit is gonna be like the top in the furry community for a while.
Oh god, hope not.
Zootopia.
Oh god, I don't even want to talk about what came out of Zootopia.
Oh god, don't.
There are some dark black holes I discovered by accident that there's no coming back from.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun.
I mean, do you recommend this movie?
I recommend it. The kids seemed entertained. I was entertained. I'll recommend it to my friends because it was fun to laugh at. Go with somebody who will cringe because it will be fun to laugh at their cringing.
Okay.
I love you too.
And
Face, that's not the worst movie I've taken you to see.
I know. I know it isn't. I was telling her about the worst movie you took me to see.
Boo 2?
Okay, that was also very bad.
Wait, what was the worst one?
I was gonna go into the first time I ever actually got so mad at a movie, I stepped out of your car for multiple times to, like, breathe.
Wait, which one was that one?
It was called The Wild Side.
Oh, yeah. It was
oh, yeah! I forgot about that movie!
I fucking didn't!
I repressed that memory hard!
Sounds like something I gotta watch right next to you.
Yeah.
Don't
that for
do
me.
that to me.
Because I don't want to watch it again.
Oh, man.
Man.
I definitely recommend this if you're an animation fan, because the animation is stellar.
Yeah.
If you're a pop song fan, yes. If you like musicals, no, it's not really a musical. It's just a song with pop songs in it.
Technically, it kind of is a musical.
There was barely any exposition during any of the songs that weren't the rap. Like,
I mean, it was the rap and that really shitty James Corden song.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is, with musicals, the songs tell the story, and technically they did. But like, even, like, the opening song kind of opened the exposition into, like, sort of the world we are entering into. Then we got the Zendaya pop number with the, you know, be curious, ask things. It does drive the plot. And, you know, then you have the James Corden number, which in musical theater is often referred to as an I am song. You know, this is the character I am, and I am the person playing this character, and now you know why. Yeah. Although it would have been better if it would be better if the song didn't suck.
I am an evil bastard.
And also, I think I just realized, I think the songs literally stop after the Commons rap. I don't think there were any songs.
Well, there's a song at the end, that kind of like the montage song.
Yeah, that was like a montage song.
So, I have this thing where
it technically is a musical.
A lot of visual noise. I can't understand the words. So for these songs, I couldn't understand the words. I could understand the couple for the chorus because you repeat the chorus. But in the end, I understood the movie just fine. And if you can't, if the movie works without the songs,
why have the songs?
Why have the songs?
Yeah.
Except to sell on Spotify.
Yeah. And soundtracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they felt not the first song. The first song felt very in the world, but it also had that vibe where you're probably gonna hear it on the radio.
Like, I feel like any song had a strict narrative purpose. I would say it was the first one, because that kind of sets the tone and like the world and all that stuff. So that one does have a direct purpose. After that, though, not really.
Yeah.
If I hear any small children singing the bastardized Queen song, I am going to put my hands in my pockets so that I don't
slap a child.
I'm gonna quote a show
so that I
called
don't point strongly at a child.
Just feel like Grunkle Stan, and like it's like Zeus. Would it be wrong to punch a child?
What's that line from F is for Family? I can't look at you right now, because if I look at you, I might kill you. It's just like...
I mean, it's the same reason you don't see anyone quoting the Emoji Movie nowadays. The movie's gonna be in and out of kids' ear in like a week.
Yeah. As it should be.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it never should be.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Emoji Movie is just gonna get buried.
It's pretty much already is.
Yeah,
it's known in infamy, pretty much.
Wait, no. I think I heard about Emoji Movie too.
No, you
Please tell me,
fucking
God,
didn't.
no.
No, you didn't.
Okay, hold
I don't
on.
know
No,
what you're
no,
talking
no,
about,
no, no.
Michaela. No, you didn't.
No, you no.
There was a lot of movies too that shouldn't have been. I looked up all the upcoming animations, and it was like sequel after sequel that shouldn't exist. What does it say?
Thankfully, all that comes up is a petition to get Emoji Movie 2. So,
Good.
oh, thank the Lord. It's bad enough that fucking Polar Bear movie's getting a sequel.
Oh my God, Norma the North.
Norma the North has a sequel.
Oh no.
I don't even think it's coming out in theaters.
No.
So trailers then.
Yeah, let's talk about trailers.
So we
talk about trailers.
Oh yeah, we
Let's,
do trailers.
we do that.
It's our cap end.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll wind down from all the anger and rage.
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
The first trailer we got was from Wreck-It Ralph 2, which I've seen this
the
trailer.
same trailer.
I've got it a million times.
I still love it when Cinderella breaks her shoe to cut a bitch, but
Now,
everything else is just kind of like, eh.
I'm in the minority that didn't love the first Wreck-It Ralph. I always think it's a little overrated, quite frankly, as far as Disney movies go. Because I feel like it had an interesting concept, and kind of like this movie, just kind of dropped it halfway through.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, video game movie. All these video game characters show up, and they all have this like video game hopping adventure, and then it's Candyland the movie for the remaining other half.
I thought it was like Wreck-It Ralph to me felt like, oh, it exists, it has a right to exist, there it goes, there it's gone. And now they're like, from the studios who brought you Wreck-It Ralph, and it's like, this is your Hallmark? You should be talking about Lion King. And then I realized that I'm freaking 23 and I'm not a child anymore.
Oh, boo hoo!
No, but like,
I turn 27 next month.
Apparently, age is a strong thing with Michael. He always gets on my ass about stuff.
You talk to kids and you go like, oh, you know, like in Lion King, and they'll go like, I've never seen Lion King. What's Lion King? And it goes like,
parents aren't showing their children the Lion King?
I have no fucking idea, Michael.
But like, I talk to teenagers and they haven't seen the Disney classics. They know Big Hero 6. They know Wreck-It Ralph, and I'm like, this is a freaking tragedy.
Uncultured swine. Now, like my kids, it's like, hey son, sit down. We're gonna watch The Predator. Not The Predator, just Predator, the classic '80s one.
The actual Predator.
Actual Predator.
Yeah.
And then because like
the only Predator that matters aside from Alien versus Predator.
We're gonna We're gonna do a double feature with Die Hard. Let's do this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just every new movie I come out, I nod and I go like, we lost something big when we fired the pen and ink department and the 2D and everything. Lost so much.
I mean,
that's not to say there's not validity with 3D animation.
Yeah. There are some things that 3D animation has brought to the table that wasn't quite accessible in 2D animation, but there is some stuff that we are missing out on.
I mean, a lot of them are going into TV right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
And
honestly, a lot of the 2D stuff is sticking to TV, and honestly, you see a lot of interesting animation styles and
because
character work.
it's cheaper to make in that format. You can do more detail with, and honestly, like, animated TV show is fucking amazing right now.
Yeah.
Between like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, Avatar, like Korra.
What was it? I've actually come to just kind of realize that I enjoy animated stuff more than I do like live action stuff.
Honestly,
just in general. But like, I mean, like my favorite show on Netflix is BoJack Horseman.
Oh, amazing show. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like if I was watching that in live action, it wouldn't be as interesting.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
Be
like
something.
Oh my God, it would be
creepy
like
CGI talking horse. Yeah, I can
imagine.
imagine.
I mean, a bunch of people in first.
Like, I mean, like, if they just took all the animal characters and just made them people, I would have been, I don't know, like something clicks with people in animation.
Well, you can do a lot more animal
things, I recently watched all of Dragon Prince, and, the animation's interesting, but I still found myself, I fucking rewatched it, like, last weekend. Like, after I watched it the first time, I rewatched it literally the next weekend, and I was like, okay, yeah.
So, this reminds me of when I was at a talk with, I don't remember which talk it was, but I believe it was a talk given by Steve Hickner.
Okay.
And
now, what's Steve Hickner done for reference for those uneducated?
Steve Hickner was one of the directors of Prince of Egypt.
Okay, yeah, I'm on board.
And also B-Movie.
Oh, that's right.
I got my art. I got my art of B-Movie signed by Steve Hickner.
One of these things.
She also drew Steve Hickner as a bee from B-Movie,
and I showed it to him.
It was beautiful.
Okay,
it's great. I have a picture of him and me, and my sketchbook open to a page of Steve Hickner. Anyway,
I will admit that's kind of amazing.
He said that
oh my god, I love it.
Proceed.
That film is honestly dying. That movies, cinema is dying, and that all the good writers are going to TV. All the good writers, all the good studios, they're putting it where it is, which is TV, which is long form stuff that's easier to manufacture. And that's just where everything's going, and this is gonna die eventually.
Like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I always feel like, I think it's gonna be like anything else. It's the rise and flow of entertainment. Now, I still think movies are gonna have a place a few years down the line. I don't think it's all gonna be TV, because you're also going to run in that place where no matter what medium you're going to have an oversaturation problem, because everything moves to TV, no one's going to keep up with that much, and things are going to fall behind. The movie's easier to contain and easier to produce as one solid piece, and that's it. The problem, again, is oversaturation, in which case now there's kind of a monopoly system going on with Disney right now, and more money are going to the big event movies, and and we're seeing that now. We're in the part where like those are starting to die off because they're becoming less and less popular. So it's going to eventually get to a point where we are going to see smaller movies become more popular, and it's always going to make more money because they're going to be cheaper to make, and we're going to see a lot more of those crop up.
Yeah,
it's going to be the next. It's like event movies are the big. What's the word I'm looking for? Trend right now, especially with like the Avengers.
Yeah,
like,
with the in-universe things,
like expanded universe, or just big event movies are bringing in big bucks right now, particularly whenever like any kind of Marvel character slapped on there. Yeah. So that's what's being popular right now, but I think that's gonna fade away in time too. Yeah. As again, there's gonna be still place for event movies, but there's gonna be more to fill in the gap between the big event movies, and that's the way it should be. TV's gonna kind of be the same way, I think. It's like you're just gonna have highs and lows in any medium. That doesn't mean any medium's gonna go away. It just means there's a saturation point.
Yeah, it's also kind of what was it? One of my professors was telling me some time ago. Like he was saying that, like he was saying a similar thing about theater. Like theater has been dying for over 600 years. Like. When movies came out, like, some people were like, oh, that's it for theater. I mean, it was to some regard. Like, we started losing things like vaudeville and stuff like that. But the medium
adapts, and it finds a way to survive.
Exactly. And
as long as people try to innovate.
And in a way, like, even theater is kind of starting to fall into the pattern of trends and stuff. Like, what was it? This year's Tony Awards, all the nominees for Best Musical were based off of a movie or a show or something. Like, there weren't any new original works from theater, and honestly, theater does that a lot, where it's like it'll usually be based off something, like a lot of really popular stuff. Thank you. A lot of the popular stuff, like fucking Fun Home, was originally a graphic novel at one point. They're going for stuff that has a guaranteed audience already, so it's it's a lot harder to sell new stuff because there isn't an established fan base for it, and no one wants to produce it with a lot of money. Yeah.
So it comes. I think saying such and such industry is dying is a very popular kind of. I don't mean to dismiss what you're saying outright. It's more like, I always feel like it's kind of a cynical viewpoint. Now, in some cases, it's true. Like, some cases, like, newer, better stuff comes out that replaces old ways. That's usually more in format than entertainment media, though. Because, like, The VHS died hard. Blockbuster died hard.
But
like
but
that's
the
saying
things that they provided are still there.
Exactly, and that's my point.
Yeah.
Is the fact that we say like, oh, film is it's like that old cranky person that goes like, this generation today doesn't appreciate what we used to have.
Fucking blackboards.
And I'm just sitting there, it's like, no, your generation had problems too, but you're looking at it from rose-colored glasses, and because of what you lived in a time where you perception was positive, therefore what you see now, they have more perspective and like realization or like knowledge of the world seems darker than it used to. Therefore, the past was better.
You ever see that Tumblr post about like this girl who was, she was getting shit from her parents or whatever about like, oh, you kids rely too much on your phones, and then the grandma was all like, man, they were saying the same shit about electricity when I was growing up.
Well, like, no, there's historical context for that. Like, I did a debate in political science about video games and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, they said the same shit when books came out, when like printing press became popular.
Yeah.
The same thing when TV came out. The same thing when comic books came out. The same thing when the movies came out. We see this debate over and over again because we don't want to look back and see that this has all happened before.
Pretty much.
So we point to the next thing to blame and say that's the main problem, and that's always going to be the problem. We want to blame the future, not the past.
I just want to remind us that we're still talking about Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized that.
No, on that note, we haven't talked for like an hour, so we probably should.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah. Then we got the Grinch.
we had the Grinch.
Which basically, I think we just repeat the entire same argument we just had, our discussion we just had.
I laughed once.
I just don't know how they got Benedict Cumberbatch to do this.
Maybe he likes to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I don't...
He's a person, maybe he
I
likes
watched the trailer. I don't dislike it.
I mean, maybe it's the same way they got Don Cheadle to voice Donald Duck
Maybe.
in DuckTales, because that happened.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There's an episode where Don Cheadle plays Daffy Duck. Not Daffy Duck, Donald Duck.
Oh, shit.
And they said, like, you're going to be one of the few who has ever played Donald Duck.
Wow. Okay.
And he said, like, I can't do Donald Duck's voice. Like, you don't have to. It makes sense in the context of the episode.
Oh, is that the voice pill one?
Yeah, the voice pill one.
Oh,
yeah, that was
man.
Don Cheadle.
Oh, my God.
And so it's like, you can't say no to that. So I guess
Yeah,
they
you gotta
approached
play
Benedict
Donald
Cumberbatch.
Duck.
Says like, hey, you want to be one of 3 people that has ever played the Grinch?
That
like
actually
3 or
is
4
a good
people.
point, yeah.
And so like, sold, I'll do it. And then it's
All
like,
right.
but it's by Illumination. Shit!
We all know how well that turned out.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Now, I don't hate... I kind of hate Illumination. I take that back. I don't hate a lot of their movies. I usually find them massively mediocre.
Yeah.
Except for Minions, which can suck my dick. Which I apologize for the graphic imagery there.
Is that a good way or a bad way?
Bad way.
Okay, I was getting a little
It's
worried.
a bad suck my dick.
Like $1 hooker kind of thing.
Yeah, bad suck my dick. It's the bad version of suck my dick.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And Despicable Me 3, which also coke.
That
one sucked.
That was bad.
But the Grinch, it's more just their obnoxious, fucking awful advertising campaign, which I can't stand. Where they have advertising for their own movies in their own movies. It's like, hey, are you watching Secret Life of Pets? Well, here's a poster for Sing on the back of a van.
Jesus.
Because that happened.
Sing was the worst.
Sing was...
I didn't hate Sing, but I didn't really like it.
despised it. I hated it so much.
I did.
Didn't you and I see that one?
Strangle the
Didn't you and I see
koala
that one?
and leave it in
we saw Sing together.
Yeah.
And I told you about my feelings on Sing and how much I fucking hated Matthew McConaughey as the koala. Because he's a fucking criminal.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's horrible.
I mean, there's literally a terrible character for kids to want to root for. It's just like, no.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So that's a Grinch. It sucks.
Yeah.
Then we got Nutcracker in the Four Realms. I don't know who
Tired
asked.
of that commercial?
I don't know who asked for this.
I'm like...
Oh, hold on. We're going to take a break because I got to clear some footage.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we have been on this for a while.
Anyway. Okay, we're back.
All right.
Wait,
Sorry
so
about
you
that.
don't actually legitimately have minions sucking your dick. I get the reference now, right?
We just spent that whole break explaining that to Michaela.
Quick, on to DeviantArt.
Oh, God, no.
I grew up very sheltered.
Oh,
Just paint it yellow. They'll go right for it.
Okay,
Banana. Okay, we're done.
Nutcracker in the
nice
Four Realms.
segue, Nutcracker.
Nutcracker.
Hey. So we got Nutcracker in the Four Realms, which
Loud.
I don't know who asked for this. I don't know who pitched. It was like, hey, what if we had Chronicles of Narnia? but Nutcracker.
It looks loud as heck, and it looks like it doesn't really... I mean, our soldier guy is not a Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Where's
Actually,
the
yeah,
Nutcracker?
that's a good-ass question.
And then,
No, that thought crossed my mind too.
I never thought about that before.
Our Rat King or Rat Queen or whatever is supposed to be a rat, like with 3 heads or something, and she's just this lady with...
Oh shit, yeah, this movie might have literally nothing to do with the actual Nutcracker.
And
I mean, I kind of got that from It's a Magical Portal to Narnia.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, that's weird, because I'm not super close with the Nutcracker, but I mean, yeah, those are elements that are seriously missing.
And
Like
Morgan
the
Freeman
name.
going, Wayne, your parents left you a powerful foundation.
You need to widen. You're in a circle.
And, ooh, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I was like, can we talk about Morgan Freeman anymore? I don't know.
Morgan Freeman is kind of a...
Yeah. That's kind of one we conveniently forgot about, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. Although his apology was better than most, but it was still kind of like...
His apology was, oops, I didn't mean to...
Get caught.
Yeah.
His apology was, I didn't mean for anybody to be disgusted by my actions. And it's like, your actions were disgusting.
Yeah,
and if you listen to people telling you no, you would know that.
You're dumb.
Anyway, Morgan Freeman, we don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like him anymore.
Makes me sad.
It makes me sad to not like him because he's a great actor.
Yeah, he
He's a good
is.
actor,
It's
but-
also a case where, like, it's another long list of actors. I'm like, God damn it!
Yeah.
It's really something that you want to say, I didn't hear that, but you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, first it was Bill Cosby. I was like, no. And then it's like Kevin Spacey. And you're like, no. And then,
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.
fucked
is
me
like,
up for
son of a
while. I was
bitch!
like, I was rewatching Parks and Rec, and he was in a few episodes of that, and I was like, fuck, I can't watch these episodes. I actually feel bad for watching these.
I can't watch his show anymore, and I loved his show.
Yeah, he did have a good show.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of fucked up.
Yeah, so
it's just
basically,
like,
don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And don't
And-
show your dick without consent.
Yeah!
Ask before you flash. Just like, yeah.
You want a sundial? Anyway,
Sundial.
back to Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Oh my god, I fucking love Danny DeVito in this movie.
And then the last trailer we got was for Goosebumps 2. Fuck that.
I don't know why it has
It
a
looks
2.
like a thing.
Goosebumps. It's
It
like
literally looks like the same
it's
story
the
as
exact
Goosebumps
same,
1.
except Jack Black say no, so that makes me concerned.
Yeah, he was off to more important projects like the house with a clock on its walls.
Yeah, that's something.
Like there are other places you're going to put a clock. Yeah, walls are where clocks go.
I would need to be a warlock for a
No,
movie
no,
directed
they go
by
here.
fucking what's his name, Eli Roth. Yeah,
What do I know that name from?
the Green Inferno,
Oh shit.
Death Wish,
Oh, what the fuck? Yeah. why
Cannibal
is-
Holocaust. He's like a big fan of Cannibal Holocaust.
Wait, Eli Roth is doing this movie?
Yeah, Eli Roth directed A House with a Clock in the Walls.
What the fuck?
That's what everyone I said on Twitter said when I put that up there.
Listen, I don't actually know people's names.
Eli Roth is known for gore porn movies.
Yeah.
Gore porn exploitation movies.
Wow, okay.
So he's doing like a kids movie now, and it's just like,
He made the most recent remake of Death Wish with Bruce Willis in it.
oh yeah.
Another name.
That was like you don't know Bruce Willis?
He's the guy from Die Hard. Oh.
Basically, if you guys say names, I'm just gonna nod. 'Cause
Bald
I don't
guy in
know
Die Hard?
anybody. I don't know.
He had hair in Die Hard.
I don't know, man.
If you saw a picture, you just recognize him. Bruce Willis has been around for like over.
Basically,
He just got
40
roasted
years.
on Comedy Central.
Yeah. Noted. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to explain actor's name. That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Nothing wrong. You're not the one person I have to do that with.
All right.
Yeah, but Goosebumps 2 looks like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all we got. So you guys have found words for small feet, massive tangents aside.
I know. Like we were kidding. Like I mean, this review is like Small Feet.
Now, that was like video essay worthy right there.
I know. Seriously, shit. We should just cut that part and make it its own video. Like
Cut out everything
seriously.
that has something to do with small feet. It was pretty. I really like I like how it had a design. It's not just cookie cutter. It's another Frozen face. It's another same animation style, same world style. No, it had a style to it. It was fun. It kind of knew what it wanted visually.
But it
at
was
least.
kind of. Yeah, visually.
I had fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I did find myself liking this movie more than I thought I would. You know, seeing like a million ads all the time on like freaking Facebook and everything, I was like kind of thinking like, all right, I'm gonna watch this, and
I'll hook you up with a good ad blocker.
Thank you.
called uBlock.
All right.
uBlock Origin.
Nice. Yeah,
this is not a paid endorsement.
I wish. I would totally. I am for sale, advertisers. Give me money. I will talk, even if I hate it. Like Blue Apron, call me.
Nature Box.
Oh,
Nature Box. The discount Blue Apron? What?
Look at that. Fucking, oh man.
I'd be a terrible advertiser. It's like, yeah, you should get this. It tastes like cardboard and feels rough like eating gravel, but they're paying me to say it, so here you go.
Yeah, definitely. If you have an animated movie, I'm happy to be here lending my animation knowledge and not celebrity knowledge.
By all means, I'll add you to the Facebook group. You can hop into whatever one you want.
All right.
Or I might ask you to do ones you probably don't want to do.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
Matt knows all about that.
Those are fun. Those are fun text messages.
We'll go review the wild thing.
The wild thing. That's like, I don't know, we want to do a reaction series for a while.
The wild thing is different.
Not the wild thing.
You mean the Where the Wild Things Are, or is it different?
I love that movie. That movie's great.
Oh, man. I actually haven't seen that movie.
Me neither.
And I've only seen parts of it. I've never seen the whole thing.
It's fascinating to watch.
I remember somebody gets an arm ripped off, and I'm like, what the fuck? But
that movie has some fascinating things when you stop and look at it.
Okay.
It's actually really interesting to watch as an adult. You can actually understand what's going on.
Okay.
And like there's some incredibly subtle contextual things like, holy shit, that I completely missed the first time I watched it. There's a part where like the kid gets swallowed up by like the female one to protect him from like the adult ones that's angry at the time. Okay. And you don't see anything, but you just hear them arguing, and you realize like, oh shit, this is what he's heard his parents say.
Oh.
It's fucking deep. It's a Spike Lee movie.
Oh shit.
I'll have to see it. Oh, yeah, for animated movies like...
Well, no, not Spike Lee, Spike Jonze, sorry.
Oh, okay. Spike Lee is someone else.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We gotta see that.
All right. Well, I just list on that one. That one I'm worried about.
I'm so excited. It looks visually amazing.
Visually, it looks amazing. I have some very specific complaints about what Sony's gonna do with it. Because again, it is Sony. I do not fucking trust them. But I think it's all we got for this one, guys. So I got like a shit ton of ways I gotta catch up on this week. So I'll probably be like trying to do a movie a night for the next 4 days, basically.
All right.
So stick with me as much as you can. Thank you for joining me today. Hope we see you again soon. And you too, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Okay, get out of my car.
All right, fine.